I think for me, the photography, like acting, is one of the most personal and abstract of all the mediums. That's what attracted me to it originally. And throughout all my series, I've always worked on, from the premise of one of my earliest fascinations, and that is why we, our species, are so identified with situations of belief and how much we place into these things. For me, I thought it was an interesting film and had all the potentials of making a very good series. And the fact that the black and white medium suited it was a very important aspect as well. Its dark side tended to put people off a little bit, which I can understand. It's confronting. It provokes our denial. It makes us double think, or we can identify with it as a very negative thing and we want to avoid it completely. And maybe that's why something like that continues to reoccur in our society generation after generation. What I wanted to do is to get that feel of a day in the life of the skinhead gang and get that intensity without words of their belief and how strong it is. And they're basically the same as everyone else. They're looking for truth and purity. Just because they've deviated so far from it doesn't negate the fact that they are under the influence of belief. Within a series of 35 black and white photographs, a feel of a culture, of a group of people who have a belief and who act on it. Whether it is in a very negative form, which it is, it still has a wonderful element of dramatic premise that can teach us something about the way we behave, dealing with racism, young people identifying with something and believing in something so heartedly that they act out on it, whether they really have an understanding that it has any positive contribution to society and our species. And these are the sort of questions that it provokes. It was wonderful to be able to work on a set that gave you the freedom to explore your own idea and do what you want with it without having the restrictions of what people wanted. And the fact that doing two jobs at once was really nice. Here I was doing publicity photographs, certain look and feel that's required to sell a movie. And then there was the other side, which helped, I think, both elements. It helped to give a certain quality to the promotional images as well. The fact that I was working on a different concept, a different through line, which I think primarily for me is based on composition. Composition is one of the most important elements in the visual arts. From the most simplistic kind of composition to the most abstract, complicated, convoluted, hard to see that there is a certain tight control in getting that kind of framing. And it helped me to loosen up and see so many different types of ways of composing a photograph. And I think that exhibition, the Romper Stomper Series, really helped me with my favorite exhibition, which was one that I worked on after that for 2 years, called War Fever, which was photographs that are just recording the environments of America from the East Coast to the West Coast. Without that, I wouldn't have been able to get the satisfaction I got with the War Fever series. Both have an element of looking at the dark side of who we are and how we live.